Before we jump in, let's be real. This podcast contains jokes, laughter, and a whole lot of real talk. Yes, we cover serious crimes. Yes, we add a little humor, but never, and I mean never, at the expense of the victims or their families. If you're sensitive, easily offended, or the type to clutch your pearls every time someone laughs during a true crime story, this may not be the podcast for you. But if you like your true crime with a little bit of spice, a lot of honesty, and just enough petty to keep it fun, welcome to Melanin Mysteries, baby. Let's get into it. What's up, cousins, and welcome back to another episode of Melanin Mysteries. To our loyal listeners who've been riding shotgun with us from day one, y'all already know what it is. It's all love. We appreciate every stream, every message, every petty side eye you send our way. And to the new folks joining the mystery crew, buckle up, baby, because around here we mix true crime with a little sass, a splash of shade, and a whole lot of truth. And before we dive in, thank y'all for the overwhelming love on our 1 year anniversary. Y'all showed out and we really felt it. The celebration is still going strong. So, yes, we're still taking shots and spilling secrets. Now, this week's case, let's just say it starts with drinks and flirty conversation, a little dip in the pool that turns into something a little less innocent. And next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. There's a 911 call going out that sounds more scripted than sincere. Somebody's drowning, somebody's lying, and a very famous family refuses to let the truth sink. But wait, don't go nowhere when the case ends, because after this week's Love, Lies, and Alibis, we got some hot piping tea. One of the offenders we covered had the audacity, the nerve, like the gall to reach out, and baby, they was big mad. So you know we gonna unpack it all, and you know I got receipts. I'm a Virgo. So grab your snacks, pour your drink, and let's dive into the tragic entangled case of DeeDee Jackson and Don Bohana. It's about to get deep in more ways than one. I'm your host, Tiffany.
And I am your co-host, Willie. Let's get it. They never wanted to believe the truth, that DeeDee's death was an accident. I loved her, but that didn't matter once they decided I was guilty. I spent years behind bars for something I did not do, and I'm still fighting to clear my name. And this is what he quoted as saying, "Hell will freeze over before I admit to I did something I didn't do," unquote.
It was August 26, 1994, in Ladera Heights, California, and Delores Jackson, aka DeeDee, was chilling with her new man, Don Bohana. Both divorcees just putting their toe in the dating pool, see how the water feels, you know. The drinks are pouring, the combo's getting loose, a little late night splash turns into a skinny dip, and before you know it, there's a 911 call ringing out at 2 a.m., and nothing about it makes sense. So Dolores Velma Martes, aka DeeDee, she was born April 1st of 1955. Her mother was Irma Estevez Martes, and she was actually from Mexico. No father mentioned, so we'll just go ahead and assume he's a deadbeat. And everyone said that DeeDee was a gorgeous woman. She really was. She was sweet as pie, and she would go to the ends of the earth for the ones that she loved. So back in high school, DeeDee met the love of her young life, none other than Tito Jackson. Yes, as in the King of Pop's brother. Let that sink in. Now, let's be clear. Tito, at this point, he wasn't moonwalking in nobody's spotlight just yet. The two, they crossed paths at Fairfax High, and they fell hard like a 90s slow jam and wasted no time. The ink on their diplomas weren't even dry before they said "I do" on June 7th, 1972. DeeDee was still 17 and Tito was 18. You know how that young love goes. And they ended up having 3 sons, which were Taj, TJ, Tito Joe, and Taro, who later formed their own group. You know, music runs in the family. I mean, duh, they're the Jacksons.
Yeah, speaking of the Jacksons, man, if Jermaine Jackson don't take that patent leather toupee wig off, you be seeing that dude hair? You ever seen Jermaine Jackson
Yeah,
hair?
I've seen, yes.
Man, I'm like, what is that, man? That is. Anyway, so the two got divorced in 1986 after 16 years of marriage. You aren't always the same person at 30 that you were at 18, and that's okay. They still had 3 boys to raise. So DeeDee met Donald Bohana, in 1993, just a few months before her death. Don was 59 and DeeDee was 39. So that's a big age they had together. So maybe he was tricking her. I mean, not tricking her, but tricking on her. They met at a place called Little J's downtown.
No, I mean, she had her own money.
I mean, you're right, man. I mean, if you like old niggas, you like old niggas. I'm just saying, he's 20 years older than her. She's 39. You know what I'm saying? So I just usually, when I see that, I assume it's always because of the fact that he gonna be a cake daddy. I could be wrong. Some people like old niggas. So
Yeah, you should know.
Shut up, man. Anyway, DeeDee asked her friend that she was with if she knew anything about him. Don was very low key, they say. And all they knew was that he was the first black man to open and maintain a Denny's restaurant in Watts, the first sit down restaurant opened in Watts after the riots in 1965. Now, when it comes to Donald James Bohana, the details real scarce. He was born somewhere around 1934 or maybe 1935, give or take. What we do know is Don was out here moving like a businessman, hustling, baby. And don't talk about it, not just any hustle. He had legit ties to the healthcare world. He owned luxury homes. He cruised in boats. He flew private planes. And yep, he had a Denny's and Watts because apparently making and business go hand in hand. So that man was doing big things. So the two hit it off. You know, they get to date, and it's about 8 weeks or so into their relationship. And it's the night that everything went wrong. So check this out. August 26th, 1994, at 3:34 a.m., a call comes into 911. Don says someone fell in my pool. That's it. No name, no gender, no sense of urgency, just hey, somebody. That's it. Like it was a complete stranger wandered into the backyard and took a swim. Not his girlfriend, not DeeDee, just someone, and that they were drowning. Guilty.
So EMS gets to the scene within 8 minutes or less, and when they get there, they found Don kneeling on the ground next to DeeDee. Now, first of all, they couldn't even get in his house. They said they had to like jump over the fence. So when they got there, they found Don kneeling against the ground next to DeeDee. She was lying on her back with her head and neck propped up against a tree. She was several yards away from the pool. She wasn't breathing, and she didn't have a heartbeat. Now, there were several things that EMS noticed about the scene when they got there that didn't sit right with them. They said the area that was under DeeDee was wet, but her skin, it was dry and cool to the touch. Her hair,
Mm.
it was damp, not soaking like you'd expect if she'd just been pulled out the pool. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if somebody's dragging me out the deep end, I'm coming out drenched. Like, not barely missing, like I took a stroll through a sprinkler. Something ain't adding up, and whatever Don was trying to sell, baby, the math wasn't math.
Ain't
There's
mapping.
something in that water that ain't clean, and it damn sure wasn't just a chlorine, okay? So they did try CPR. The very first chest compression, DeeDee expelled a large amount of alcohol in water, which basically meant that there had been no prior attempts at CPR to try and resuscitate her. Now, maybe Don didn't know CPR. I mean, he worked in a hospital, but that doesn't necessarily mean he had any medical training, right? Fair. But baby, you can at least pretend like not even little chest compressions like you saw in a movie. At least try and save her. Not just standing there looking confused. Sir, I need you to give us something.
I would you saw a little bit because it's so early in the case. You know, benefit of the doubt, y'all. Like, don't gonna do that. I mean, these couple things you stated, like the whole thing about him and the door open. Now, if you see your girlfriend just drown, you probably not thinking straight. It's like, oh, let me open up the door for him. You know what I'm saying? So that also, if the CPR, he probably knew she was dead already. That's why. So I got
I mean, it's funny, but just because that doesn't necessarily mean you've passed on. Just because you're not breathing does not necessarily mean you haven't passed on. Like that's what CPR is actually supposed to
oh
do.
yeah, I'm glad you
That
said that. Well,
breathing.
I ain't breathing. Go ahead. Time of death. But yeah. So anyway, AMS tried for 30 minutes to try to resuscitate DeeDee, but unfortunately she was gone. Rest in heaven, baby. And while they were working on DeeDee, Don went back in the house to put clothes on. He made a couple calls before EMS took DeeDee to the hospital. EMS also noticed while working on DeeDee that she had a lot of bruises on her upper chest, breast, a torn earlobe, and a cut on her shoulder. So it's looking a little DV to me. Of course, not far behind EMS was the Los Angeles Sheriff Department. They got to the home at 4:05 a.m. One deputy said Don was clearly drunk and described his demeanor as belligerent and he didn't cooperate whatsoever. But a different deputy noted that Don was dazed and withdrawn. He wouldn't answer questions when asked by deputies, but he made phone calls to family members. And then he said that he had no problem communicating with them, but as soon as they wanted to talk, he was a babbling mess. The family members Don was calling turned out to be his daughter Donna and his ex-wife Sheila. They both made it to the house not long after Don called them. Now, when they got there, Don was talking to Sheila, who requested that the deputies give her a few minutes to see if she could get Don to calm down enough so he can actually talk and let him know what happened. Meanwhile, the CSI is assessing the scene. They noticed that there was a pool pole at the bottom of the pool that was parallel to the diving board. There was no blood on the scene, and Don was wet clothes, but they were in the room. Remember, he took them off and he changed.
So when Don is finally ready to speak, it's about 7:45 a.m. and he tells him how it all went down. So Don said that DeeDee came over for dinner around 10:30 p.m. and by 11 they were alone. They had just finished a late night dinner. DeeDee had been drinking rum and coke, and Don said he was drinking wine. And they were just, listening to some music. They danced for a little bit, and at some point they ended up in the hot tub. And they were chilling before DeeDee decided she wanted to swim in the pool instead, and she was in the deep end. Now, Dawn said she was swimming back and forth. She touched the pool light, turned back to swim towards the jacuzzi. At this point, he had gotten out and he was sitting at a table by the pool, just watching her, whatever. And all of a sudden, he said she seems to be like in distress. So he dives in and he tries to save her. But he said she starts like resisting and fighting him, and he couldn't bring her back to the surface. So he gets out of the pool, he grabs a pool pole, but it was too short, so he drops it in the pool. And then he goes and he grabs another pool pole that was longer, and this one had the little leaf net attached at the end. So he said that he tried to get her to grab it, but she didn't. And at this point, Don, he runs in the house to grab the phone and call 911. Remember, this is 94. We didn't really have cell phones like, we do now. So after he gives the dispatcher the address, he runs back outside.
Hmm. When he got back outside, DeeDee wasn't moving and was at the bottom of the pool. He jumps in again and puts his hands underneath her arms, picks her up so that, she was facing him and swam to the surface. He put DeeDee at the deep end of the deck. The deep end of the pool, for reference, was about 7 to 8 feet deep, man. Now, look, I still can't swim. You know how to swim? Oh, yeah, you know how to swim.
Yes,
I need to learn how to swim, though, man. Yeah, I don't want to be the typical stereotype that because I like chicken. Nah, nigga can't swim. That ain't good. Now, when he placed her on the deck, he said he rolled her onto her stomach and pushed her lower back to try and resuscitate her. When that didn't work, he rolled her on her back and applied pressure to her stomach. He then tried to put his mouth on hers and suck the water out of her lungs. He said he would try to resuscitate her when the paramedics arrived. Don said he didn't answer the question because he was scared. He said that DeeDee was a strong swimmer and he had no idea why she had drowned.
See, that don't make no sense. I don't.
Right? Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I ain't gonna say I don't miss alcohol or water because when we be at the one spot, but swimming, yeah,
I
I
mean,
ain't.
my favorite place is the pool bar. My daughter was like, yes, the other day, she was like, you don't go swimming. She's like, you don't ever get in the pool. I was like, I do if it's a bar in there.
Hey man, that's the only. No, I feel you. Yeah, but I'm just saying to be pissy drunk and
It's
talk about I
actually
want to take a yeah, I want to take it in the deep end. If I can't stand up and my head at least 2 feet out of that water, I'm not getting in the water.
I used to swim when I was younger. Like I stayed at the pool and I was an avid swimmer. Like I used to love doing handstands under the water and flips and all that stuff. And I can swim. Like I just don't anymore. I don't know. Not my thing. I tried snorkeling. That was probably one time I felt like I was about to drown, and I was just like, "Yeah, this ain't."
Man, that snorkeling wasn't meant for black folks. That's not for us. So don't do it.
That was one time I felt like I was gonna drown in the ocean. I was like, "Yeah, never mind." So yeah, that was that. So anyway, the police they go knocking door to door. They start canvassing the neighborhood, and baby, when I say they got nothing. They got nothing. Not a peep. Nobody saw nothing. Nobody heard anything. And let's be real. Folks are probably more irritated about being woken up at the crack of dawn than concerned about what actually happened. So this ain't the type of neighborhood where drama's allowed. Oh, no. This is a good, clean, HOA enforced, gluten-free, mayonnaise money suburbia, okay? A little ruckus like this, not in a zip code. So after Don's interview with the police, they allow him to leave, and he leaves with Sheila and Donna, which they thought was a bit odd. Like they seem a bit too close to be divorcees, okay? So you already know they weren't about to let that slide either. They wanted the full scoop from Sheila about her and Don because something in that dynamic was giving messy and motive. So boom, detectives start peeling back the layers on Don and his ex-wife Sheila, and baby, what did they find? Not only were they divorced, but Miss Sheila had a whole restraining order out on him, claiming he was violent. So investigators were like, "Hold on, is
You
Don out
like
here
to
with his?"
choke them.
And they waste zero time tracking sits down for an interview. And this is where the foolery really kicks in, right? So come to find out, this half a lie, y'all. Like straight up lied to get that restraining order. She originally claimed that Don tried to kill her, like take her out of here. Not because it happened, but because she knew that, the little drama would help her get a bigger check in a divorce. Girl, I'm gonna need you to be serious. Like, that's not even petty. Like, that's borderline criminal, like a sprinkle of evil. Like, who lies about attempted murder? That's just low down and dirty.
Yeah,
Like,
I never understood that. I feel like if a person lying, a person like that, and you come to find out it is a lie, like why charges don't we get filed on them? Majority of the times.
they like that. I don't. Yeah, that's horrible. So I'm gonna need y'all to brace yourself for this. And midway during the interview, she's like, but things are great between us now. Now, ma'am. And get this, she said her and DeeDee was like real cool. Like DeeDee was up at her even helping her plan her wedding. Excuse me, what?
Mm,
So your ex-husband's new girlfriend is helping you plan your next walk down the aisle after you accuse him of trying to kill you for a few extra dollars in court?
come on
Uh-uh.
now.
Make it make sense. This whole situation smells like pool water privilege and pure nonsense, and I don't like it.
I don't
Mm-mm.
like it at all, man. Stop lying on folks. Anyway, and they still have to notify DeeDee's next of kin, which of course are her three sons. And when they tell the young men that their mother passed due to drowning, all three were devastated, rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? And secondly, they were kind of confused. They're like, well, DeeDee couldn't swim. She was actually terrified of water. They also had statements from France and DeeDee, who also said that she couldn't swim. DeeDee was real private about her love life. France said that, they would notice bruises on her, but when they asked her about it, she would just brush it off. When the autopsy results came back in, things really, really, really started to get real. Complicated, of course. First, DeeDee's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit to drive. So she was nice and toasted, right? Like I was yesterday. So yeah, she had been drinking. But let's be clear. Just because you've been drinking and tipsy doesn't mean that you suddenly slip, trip, and drown without a sound, right? Then came the physical injury. She had multiple bruises and scrapes all over her body. But the one that stood out, a bruise on her head that looked eerily like a handprint, like 4 fingers, almost like someone was pressing her down and not in a helping her out the pool kind of way. More like I'm holding you down in the pool so you can drown. That's the type of energy it was giving off. So you do the math. And Don had not a single bruise on him. Now here's when you know where the names you need to remember comes in. Dr. David Posey, the coroner. He examined those injuries and described the bruising as blunt force trauma. Not a bump, not a fall, blunt force trauma. But even with all of that, he ruled the manner of death as undetermined, which is basically the forensics version of look, some ain't right, but I can't legally say what really went down. And honestly, the ruling left more questions than answers.
Now, when they circle back around on Don, he is just flabbergasted. Okay. He said that the bruising that was found was a result of his desperate drunken efforts to rescue DeeDee with the pool pole. He said that DeeDee had been comfortable swimming in his pool and she had several swimsuits at his house. Now, her son Taj did come out and say that his mother told him that she was learning to swim and that Mr. Bohana was teaching her. So let me get this straight. She was learning how to swim. She had only known this man for like 8 weeks, and suddenly she's out here diving in the deep end like she's a whole mermaid. Girl, please, that's a hard no for me. I don't believe it. Try
I
again.
mean, now hold on. Now that could be a possibility. Now, come on. Now, I mean,
Ain't
look.
nobody that comfortable swimming after 8 weeks swimming in a pool. I don't.
Wait. After how you know though?
It's 8 weeks, and you're a beginner swimmer, and you're in your late
But
30s
she
now.
drunk though. She got the liquor in her system. So in her mind, she probably thinks she is the best swimmer this side of the Mississippi River.
I mean,
Remember, alcohol takes away your inhibition.
that is true. I
So,
suppose.
all right, I got you.
Explain the bruises, but whatever. So at this point, since the coroner has ruled DeeDee's death as quote undetermined, Don was basically free to go. He had no prior criminal history. He's a businessman. This was all just a tragic accident. So in the midst of all this, DeeDee's laid to rest. Of course, her sons, Tito, and the host of friends, family and friends come to see her off. Catherine Jackson, the matriarch of the Jackson family, was also in attendance, as well as Janet and Jermaine.
The Jackson family said no. Matter of fact, hell no. This was not an accident. And since the DA office wouldn't do anything about it, they decided to pursue other avenues to bring awareness and get some form of justice. They did file a wrongful death lawsuit against Don on August 26, 1995, and they also hired a beast of an attorney who went on a media campaign. Now, his name was Brian Osman, and he was determined to bring as much media attention to DeeDee's death in the hopes that it would get the attention of the DA's office to finally bring charges against Don and hold him responsible for DeeDee's death. So, in a death lawsuit, Brian claimed that Don was bankrupt and deep in debt. And his theory was Don asked DeeDee for help, and when she was furious that he wouldn't even think to ask her for some money to bail him out of his financial situation, the two got into a fight. Brian also claimed that police reports show that Don had a history of violence against women, and he told the press that police had responded to at least a dozen 911 calls made from his house by past girlfriends. Oof.
Now listen, trial by media is a whole different beast because once the media gets a hold of a story, facts tend to take a backseat to headlines and drama. It doesn't even have to be true. If folks see it or hear it in the media, they take it as gospel, and we see that all the time. So, case in point, this little nugget that started floating around, it was actually completely false, like not even a little bit true. But that didn't stop the media from running wild with it. And once that happens, the public opinion starts forming faster than facts can catch up. Meanwhile, the actual police reports, just noise complaints, and not a single one of Don's past girlfriend reported any abuse. None. But by then, the damage had been done because perception's already taken over reality.
Mm. Time is still going by, and the justices are still going hard about somebody doing something. Laura Ann Jones in the DA's office decided that she agreed with the Jackson family, and she felt that Don Bohana should be taken to trial to stand in answer for what had happened to DeeDee Jackson. Now, even with all of this, there was still one big hurdle. The original autopsy listed DeeDee's cause of death as undetermined. And let's be real, that's not exactly a strong foundation in front of a jury. So what they do, they go right back to David Posey because, yeah, some questions still need an answer, and this case was far from wrapped up.
So they go and have themselves a little chit chat with Dr. Posey. And listen, we don't know what was said behind those closed doors or how the conversation played out, but boom, next thing you know, Dr. Posey switches it up. He changes DeeDee's cause of death from undetermined to homicide. Now we're cooking with some grease, baby. Right after that, the DA's office issues a warrant for Don's arrest. And just like that, he's charged with first degree murder in the death of Delores DeeDee Jackson. He was arrested on March 7th, 1997. Don, of course, pleads not guilty. And the bond, $1 million. But of course, Don goes ahead, he posts 100K, and he's back out living life like the rest of us, sitting out here. Excuse me. He was released and waited out until trial, which didn't even start until June 12th of 1998, almost 4 years after DeeDee's death. Child, the audacity has no expiration date.
Mm.
And front and center at the trial, oh, you already know, Tito was there holding it down alongside with him were Jackie's sons and Katherine Jackson herself. The family wasn't just showing up, they were making it very clear whose side they were on.
So the prosecution, they did not come to play. They were determined to get justice for DeeDee. Their theory was that Don beat DeeDee, causing the scalp wounds, black eye bruising, and other injuries. They believed that DeeDee either fell or was pushed into the pool by Don. And she couldn't rescue herself because she couldn't swim and was injured or unconscious. Furthermore, they brought up the issue on the 911 call and how nonchalant Don was, and they said he never even mentioned her name. Man, that prosecution was pulling out witnesses like they was on sale at Costco. Every time you blink, boom, another one. I was like, do y'all got reward cards or something? Because these witnesses are rolling out. It's never ending. So look, one witness was William Richardson. He was retired. He was a retired lifeguard and an expert in water safety. He testifies that an unconscious person that had been retrieved from a swimming pool would have scrapes on the buttocks, hips, and probably bruising on the wrist. DeeDee had none of these wounds. In Williams' opinion, her recovery from the pool couldn't have happened the way that Don said. Even one of the paramedics that was on the scene testified that it would be almost impossible to lift an unconscious person out of a pool deck when a rescuer is in the deep end of a swimming pool, right? So the math ain't math for y'all. Now, Don did testify that DeeDee told him that she was trying to learn how to swim and that Don was going to teach her. He said that DeeDee told him that she stood on the stairs of the pool, but she did not say she swam. So that's kind of crazy too. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. I feel you. You just a beginner swimmer trying to. But man, look, man, the alcohol make you do some weird things, so I can't even say that. So go ahead.
Man, alcohol don't make me do that much. I just get turned to start dancing. That's about the end of it. I don't do too much. Yeah, it just if I could just tell me I can dance, that's all. That's all. So friends of DeeDee's, they testified along with her sons that she could not swim. She had a morbid fear of water. They said she refused to get into a swimming pool or even wade into the ocean. They said that woman would barely sit in a jacuzzi. So we're going to talk about these specific friends. Brenda Ritchie. She said that in August of 1994, they both discussed taking swimming lessons. Another friend, Amy Weiner, testified that DeeDee said she had been going in the jacuzzi with Don, and she had noticed some bruising on her arm, and DeeDee just explained that the bruising was from Don holding her up in the water. Mhm. Oh, and guess who ends up on the prosecution's witness list, y'all? Kim freaking Kardashian. Yes, ma'am. Because apparently back when she was 14, she was dating TJ, DeeDee's son, and when she turned 18, they dragged her into court to testify. Like, girl, what is this case? A murder trial or a prequel to Keeping Up with Jacksons? God. Now, Kim was out there giving her testimony before she was giving up lip kiss. And listen, if you would have told me that one day Kim K would be in court for anything that didn't involve a Birkin or a bodycon dress, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But here she was, all in it, because this case, it had layers and mess and cameos. And at this point, all we needed was Kris Jenner in the back with a clipboard trying to turn it into a limited series. And of course, Dr. Posey was a witness for the prosecution, where he had to speak on the autopsy report. Now, he spoke on DeeDee's blood alcohol level being 0.22, which is almost 3 times the legal drinking limit. But she wasn't driving, so that's not really a concern. She had lacerations on her shoulder. The blunt force trauma, he theorized, had occurred less than 4 hours before she passed. He said she had several small scratches on her face and chin. She had traumatic injuries to both left and right sides of her scalp. That was the handprint that we spoke about before. And both eyes had that petechiae, which is the hemorrhaging in the eyes, indicative of death by asphyxia.
Mm. He said the injuries alone were not sufficient to cause death, but could have left her unconscious. Her injuries were inconsistent with the injuries sustained during the rescue that Don claimed happened. The bruising on her scalp were not consistent with having been hit in the head with a pool pole. Now, here's another red flag. There were no wrinkling on DeeDee's skin or hands, none. A forensic pathologist, my bad, even testified that wrinkles usually show up after your hands have been in warm water for about 15 to 20 minutes. And get this, even after someone drowns, the wrinkling still happens. So if she was really in that pool like Don claimed, her hands would have looked like she's been in the tub too long. But that didn't, not even close. So now we're asking, was she really in the water long enough to drown, or is it something else not adding up? Now the defense, woo, they didn't call a single witness, not one, just Don. And let's just say this, man, that man did a horrible job, tragedy, right? All he really got up there and said was basically he was drunk, he made some mistakes, and felt responsible that she died in the pool. That's it. Right? Honestly, he might have helped the prosecution more than he helped himself. At that point, they should have just played the elevator music and rested the case. Exactly.
Duplicated. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why the defense didn't call a single witness, shall we? Because, baby, you already know it's messy. Now, it was suspected that Don's attorney, Harlan Braun, he was a high profile, name dropping type of lawyer. He chose not to call any witnesses, and not because he didn't have any. In fact, he had the whole world renowned forensic pathologist on deck, Dr. Michael Baden. Yes, that Dr. Baden, the former chief medical examiner of New York City with decades of experience and a resume longer than Don's list of excuses. Dr. Baden reviewed Dr. Posey's original autopsy. He went through photos of DeeDee's bruises. He even walked the pool with Don himself. And what did he conclude in his expert report? He said, quote, "It was clear to me that this was a typical innocent accidental drowning in which two people were drinking a lot and one of them drowned. I think there's no evidence of homicide." He even claimed that DeeDee had a diseased liver from drinking and that it made her prone to bruising. So, in his opinion, the injuries could have come from, bumping into things. Now, here's the gag: none of this made it to trial. That report filed away somewhere and never presented to the jury. Why, you ask? Well, since you asked, word on the street was that Don was behind on paying his lawyer fees. And let me tell you, court is not the place you want to play around showing up with a balance due, okay? Now, according to a sworn affidavit filed by Don's own brother, Harlan called him the night before the trial and said, quote, "It's not wise to have an attorney starting trial angry about non-payment of his fees." Excuse me, sir. So you're telling me your defense team folded like a lawn chair because the check didn't clear?
Mm.
Not the high profile legal strategy turning into a petty payment protest. Make it make sense. You had an expert witness, a stacked resume, and possibly the one person who could have shifted the narrative. And all of that got left on the bench because Don didn't pay his bill. This wasn't a defense strategy. This was a legal version of it's above me now. And honestly, I think Don thought he could just vibe his way through the murder trial. Sir, this ain't a buy now, pay later situation. You can't afterpay a defense strategy.
I wish you can. Lord. Of course, a year later, Heartland Braden denied these allegations. He told ABC in 2020, I didn't like that he stiffed me, but I wasn't going to pull any punches on a murder trial. Man, that's crazy. A lawyer could do that, man. Like, hey, you a little bit short, dog, and they don't even represent you
No,
to their feelings.
you're paying for a service. Like this is
No,
my
I get
job.
it. I know. I get it. I get it. I get it. That's true. That's
I'm not
true.
trying to be funny. If you couldn't afford me, you should hire somebody else.
Yeah.
They do have, public defenders.
I get it. So whichever way it went, both after both sides rested, the jury went out and did their thing, and they came out with a guilty verdict for second-degree murder. In November of 1998, Don was handed a sentence of 15 years to life in prison. He was shipped off to the California State Prison, where he filed that appeal. Faster than a broke cousin pops up when they hear you hit the lotto. Man didn't waste no time. Don was out here screaming his innocence to anybody with ears, reporters, random folks in lines at Starbucks, probably even a prisoner janitor. Like, sir, relax. The only thing you convincing is yourself.
Now, Don's daughter, Donna, she was a realtor out in Malibu, California. And baby, she was determined to prove her daddy's innocence. She went into full detective mode, digging through every article, every court record, every crumb of information she could find. And you know what they say, when you go looking for something, you just might find it. So sis was combing through those files like she was trying to close escrow on the truth. I mean, she was flipping through documents harder than she flipped houses. Allegedly, during all that digging, Donna stumbled across some old news accounts that raised a few eyebrows. Apparently, the entire case against Don, like the foundation of it, basically relied on Dr. Posey changing his report from undetermined to homicide. That flip, that's what gave him the green light to indict him. But here's a twist. Another prosecutor, Stephen K., from that very same LA County DA's office, came out publicly calling Dr. Posey a fraud. Like, your own team is side-eyeing you. And at this point, it's giving completely chaotic courtroom energy. Everybody on the same payroll, but reading from completely different scripts. Honestly, the way they were flipping on each other, it was less Law and Order and more reality TV reunion special. So 1 minute Post is a professional, the next he's being called out like he forgot his lines. Somebody cue the dramatic music, because this ain't justice, this is drama.
So Stephen K. was a highly regarded veteran prosecutor who said he investigated Dr. Posey's background before he testified as a private consultant for the defense in the 1996 trial. While Posey had experience as a hospital pathologist, his background as a coroner and criminal backgrounds were limited, and he had been part-timer at the LA coroner's office for less than a year at the time of DeeDee's death. In other words, they trying to say that nigga wasn't qualified. And his opinion was called into question because Posey did testify at the original trial that he always suspected that DeeDee's death was a homicide and that he changed his opinion from undetermined to homicide after 2 years. And that's crazy they could do that. Like that should, I ain't trying to be funny. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but that right there, that should have been a case, or it should have been a mistrial right there. The minute that you went in, you changed it, that's a mistrial right there. Yeah, that would have been
an appeal, yeah.
Not even appeal. They should. I don't even know how it would have went. The lawyer should have ate that up, but I ain't no lawyer. So well, anyway, unfortunately for Don, none of that information changed a thing. He stayed right where he was in prison. His daughter Donna never stopped fighting for him. She stood 10 toes down, swearing up and down that her daddy was innocent. He filed appeal after appeal after appeal, and most of them were based on ineffective counsel, which I agree. Which, let's be real, probably had something to do with the whole I ain't paying my lawyer situation. But despite all that, the courts weren't trying to hear it. Every single appeal was denied. He also went up for parole multiple times, and every single time was denied. You know why they denied him? Because he went, in order for you to get parole, you got to take responsibility for the crime.
Mm-hmm.
He like, I ain't nah. So then in 2020, Don's health was on a decline. He already survived a stroke back in 2010 that left him without the use of his right hand. And he made it through COVID behind bars. He was 83 years old, sitting in the Men's Colony West facility out in St. Louis Obispo. That's when the National Black Church
Where did
Initiative
you get a
stepped
thing
in.
from? You said Abisco.
I don't
There
know
is
the
no
name of that. Obispo? Obispo?
but you pronounce the whole C,
I know.
Abisco.
I thought that was a Q. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. So I was doing the best I could. Don't try to don't call me
Dyslexic
out like that. I
too?
mean, it depends on the day, man. I had a long day yesterday, so it's a possibility, man. Drinking and left me dyslexic. Damn. And guess what? After all that, even after the National Black Church Initiative tried to step in and ask Governor Newsom, that's my dude too, to release him under compassionate grounds, that was denied also. But finally, in 2022, after nearly 3 decades, let that old Donny boy out. He was granted parole and release. He went home. Now, whether you believe in his innocence or not, one thing for sure, this case dragged on longer than most reality TV franchises. I don't know. Yeah, this is a tough one. I don't even know.
Right. And that, cousins, was the case of Delores, DeeDee Jackson, and Don Bohana, a case filled with cocktails, contradictions, and courtroom chaos. Now, listen, after all that, we still got to ask the question, did he do it? Or was Don really just an unlucky man caught in a tragic situation?
Them,
I'm still undecided because there really is enough to raise eyebrows. But then there's like a few things that make you go,
them damn Jacksons, man. You can't trust them.
Oh, they had the money. They was coming for him. But one thing's for sure, Don Bohana is now somewhere low key living out his golden years after nearly 30 years behind bars. Now, whether justice was served or the system got it wrong, that's really up for y'all to decide. So we want to hear from y'all. So let us know what you think. You can drop your thoughts in the comments on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, hit us up on social media, in Love, Lies, and Alibis. And don't be shy because we want to hear what y'all got to say.
Yeah, because I don't know. All right. Well, with that being said, let's go to our favorite segment called
Love, Lies, and Alibis.
Okay, here we go. You got it up?
No.
So we have the Love, Lies, and Alibis question of the week. And this is the question, right? Your spouse's passes away. Rest in peace, but let's be real. Fast forward a few months or maybe a year or two, and boom, you're dating your late spouse's best friend. Is it a love story or straight up scandalous? And some bounds just off limits forever. Or do the heart and hormones do what they want to do? So we got to see what our people say. Let me see. I wouldn't.
We go first. Remember, you even
I
asked me what.
said, yeah, I was about to answer it. Jeez, slow your roll,
No,
Kimo
you
Sabi.
really said, let's see what our listeners say.
I know, but I was about to ask. Jeez, man.
Oh, sorry, I messed it up. My bad.
Yes. Anyway, so me, I wouldn't do that, man. I wouldn't do that. I feel like, that's just certain boundaries that you can't cross, and that's one of them, man. I'm not about to be out here chat up, man. Shoot, my girl probably. I believe in people coming back and hunting you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to go through that. I wouldn't do it, man. What you used to always say? You can't. What you always say about your one friend? She used to. What was it called? What you used to say?
She was a homie hopper.
Yeah, she used to dump to the crew. She used to bang the crew.
Loving on the crew.
Yeah, loving on the crew. That's what it was. She was loving on the crew. Yeah. No, me personally, I wouldn't. What about you?
That's weird.
I knew your answer already.
That's weird. Like, first of all, I don't even want to be with nobody that, like, one of my friends was messing with. Like, no. If you slept with him, I don't want him no more. Like, I don't want your sloppy seconds. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Just
very
weird. Okay.
Very weird.
Let's see what our listeners said. So Eric Jones said it's trauma bonding. I'm sorry. It happens often. I don't necessarily like it, but I definitely see how it happens. When a shared traumatic experience like death occurs, it can create a powerful bond between individuals who witnessed or were affected by the event. This bond can be a natural response to shared grief and loss, but it can also become a source of unhealthy attachments if it's built on a foundation of pre-existing trauma. Oh, Eric broke that down. Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Next one, Tamira Connor said, what? Tamira, I said her name right? I thought you said something, man. This question reminds me of this book. The husband was dying and he wanted his three best friends to take care of his wife in all ways. To answer it for myself, plain and simple, I don't think I can do it. And the name of the book was called The Oath.
Yeah, I got that on my TBR list now because yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Dwayne, that's Nikki who was on the live last week and she said you weren't gonna mess up her name. She said no, no, and hell no. In order to trauma bond, I would need to be in a situation to bond. Period. I just don't think there's any justification for this. Nope.
All right, and we got to do our girl Terry Love. Why are we doing Terry Love? Because Terry rocked with us yesterday. Terry was out there getting faded, not X-rated. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised she made it. So let's read her. She said, I probably would, only because he would know how genuine I am. And yes, it would be trauma bonding because if he is my spouse's best friend, we would already be close. Now, the really reason I would is because when I was 17, I had a situationship with a guy that ended on good terms, and we are still friends today. Boom, fast forward. I'm 33 and run into his little brother at the club and just danced with him. And he was memorizing by the hip action and was like, "What's up?" I said, "You need to talk to your brother." At the time, it was just about seeing a man about a dog. And I guess his brother told him what my inside out coin purse can do. And let me just say, when I told him we had to stop, he balled up in my bed and shedded a tear. I'm not bragging, but hey, go ahead, man.
So
Go.
because Danita called us out because we did not give her a shout out last week, and I told her to charge us.
How did we
We did
miss
not
that?
buy her. I don't know how we missed that, but yeah, Danita came out and kicked it with us yesterday as well, and she said, "Can't do the trauma bonding thing. I get how it could happen, but I probably view them as a brother, so that's a no for me." Yes, and that's really what it would be like. I would look at you like a sibling. Like that'd be like me trying to get with you. It would just be weird. Like
I mean, I get it. I mean, but some people
weird.
do it though. I mean, I get.
That's like looking at your brother like my brother look fine. Ugh, no.
No, I get it. I mean, but I agree with old dude when he said that sometimes it may be trauma bonded. But no, I mean, no, you just because I feel like if you do that, you always had intentions on doing that.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
so
and
let's
one
see.
more. Roy Daniel said, "Never for me. I ain't saying won't think about it. Just a respect thing."
And that's
Okay.
another thing. Like, and then like how you think like how was that gonna look to your family? Like that's gonna look like your kids. Like
Yeah,
so that was my auntie and now she my stepmom. Like that would yeah, it's too much to say, especially you have kids involved, you got family involved. It's gonna look wild. Yeah,
it's gonna look wild. Yeah. So
that
that
is
was our love lies and alibis question of the week. Please make sure that you guys answer the question. And how can you answer? How can you see the question? I'm glad you asked. All you have to do is go to Facebook and join our Love Lights and Alibis group. We be wilding, we be having fun, we be making announcements in that group that we don't make to other people, and sometimes we make it there first before we announce it. So make sure that you guys join the Love Lights and Alibi group and answer the questions. I mean, you can drop posts and just rock with us, but answer the question, we'll read your answer. If you got a name that you don't want to mess up, then you make sure you post that also.
Okay.
So.
Let's go ahead and get into this tea. This
Oh man, I forgot
tea.
we were talking about that. I was about to talk about yesterday, man.
Yeah, so let's get into this tea first because
No, they need to. No, what they need to do is they need to join the Love Lives and
first off,
Alibis
we
group.
already said we were talking about it, so we're gonna talk about it.
All right, go ahead.
So last week I got a Facebook message. And I glanced at it, didn't read. I said, does that I had to do a double take. I said it
I
said
know who I don't think it. I know that ain't who I think it is.
and it was Michelle Pearson. What was that? 2 episodes ago, 3 episodes ago?
No, it'll be 3 now
Well, 2, 3, whatever.
with Ricardo.
Anyway,
Yeah,
sis was big mad. Like she came out the gate, bust popping off, y'all disrespectful, and y'all can't talk about was going in. And I said, oh,
no,
oh.
you know what she said? Willie, take care of this.
Yeah, I did. I was like, today ain't the day. I was like, maybe she'll respond better because he's a man. I was like, because I'm not in the mood for you to be popping off with me, ma'am. I didn't do anything. So Willie reached out to her. No, first she was very rude, first of all, which she was upset. Okay, whatever. But the reason that she was upset, and this is what sent me, you're upset because you don't want your family to know what you've done.
I guess she got a granddaughter or a grandbaby, somebody, and she talk about we don't want her to know about it. First of all, killer. All you got to do is go right on the internet, put your name in.
Google, baby. So Willie calls her. Willie's very nice.
Very professional.
When Willie gets on the phone, the first thing he hears is this call being recorded? She says yes. So he's like, okay.
No. The first thing I heard, well, I apologize. Let me clarify. When I got on the phone, her whoever she was on the phone with tried to herp and sneak it in like this call being recorded. So if they, I guess took it to court, they could say, well, we did tell them the call being recorded. So I asked, I said, did you just say this call being recorded? They're like, oh yeah, that's just my sister. I'm like, oh well, that's fine with me. Go ahead. So go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, so she's explaining to us that she didn't like how we covered the case, and she's like, y'all took it as a joke. So actually, before we got on the phone with her, we were together this day, so we actually went back and listened to the episode, and I was just like, okay, this was a very mild episode. Now we went in on Ricardo. You know I don't mess
Yeah,
with
we didn't say
but we
we kind of painted her out to be a victim, to be honest.
because she was a victim of domestic violence. So we offered her an opportunity because she said, I believe she said the way that she got caught was not accurate. And we told her, we said, everything that we pull is from court records, like your appeal process, newspaper articles, that's where we get our information. So it's, this is where, and I was like, but if you would like to clear that up, Willie was like, we would love to give you a platform. You can clear that up. She says, let me think about it. Okay, cool.
She said, no, I got a voice. I said, yes, you do, ma'am. And we want to use it on Meddling Mysteries. I said, I won't edit it. I will give you the mic. You can say whatever you want to say about the case. And hold on, before you get finished, mind you, this lady talks to troubled kids and teens about everything she went through. So she actually talks to teens, and she even got, I think, a YouTube video, if I'm not mistaken, about
videos.
You said what?
She has a type of videos talking about what she did.
About what she did. So you're telling everybody what she did. All we did was, I just want to throw that out there. So people know you for what you did. You're doing a good thing, which I think is a great thing that you're talking to young women or whatever. So they know what you did. What's the problem?
So, but it gets messier.
Oh, yes, it do.
So her sister then reaches out to me and she's going on and on about, you can't do this and you can't do that. So, and I didn't realize till days later, but she sent a cease and desist letter. It's like, you do understand that anything and it is an article, like I had my BFF type it up, Chi type it up, citing the references on how we are legally under, as long as we don't report anything that's not real, like, and we can note our sources, like I said, we got them from newspaper articles, court documents, all of that is covered under the First Amendment. And I told her, and I know she was going back and forth with me, and I was very professional and kind. And I said at some point, I said, you know what? I said, I'm not going to keep going back.
Wait. You forgot something. We got a message in our IG account.
No, this was before that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you know what? I said, look, this is enough back and forth for me. I said, we are not going to be the first or the last podcast that talks about you. I said, all the information is public. Google is free, and anybody who is interested can go Google your name and they're going to find everything you did. I said, so with that being said, I said, now I'm feeling harassed and I was like, and I'm not going to sit here and be bullied by you. I said, now, if you would like to take this to court and waste your money, go right on ahead. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I was like, but going right on ahead, because I'm ready to pull out my bling shoes. I'm gonna have my designer frame so the paps don't recognize me, because I'm ready to go to court, baby, so you can look stupid. And then I'm gonna countersue you for emotional distress for harassing me.
Amen to that. I didn't want to walk out in my suit like Martin was.
So,
when he represented himself.
So like 10 minutes later after that, I get a message on Instagram.
IG, baby.
I don't even know who this man was, but he's like, I under the impression that a family member reached out and this is hurting our family. I said, you know what? Just like I told the sister, I said, the only person that should be hurting and who should be upset is the victim's family. I said, because y'all took that woman away from her family for $2.
$2, baby.
I said, now, we offered her a platform to speak. I said, but I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you about it. I said, like I told your sister or whoever she is, take us to damn court if that's what you want to do. I said, but like I said, we ain't the first or the last podcast that's talked about you. And then I had to find out we actually were the first podcast that covered her case. Oh, whoops. And again,
that was funny. We like, well, let me correct you right there.
Yeah, I was like, oh my bad, we are the only podcast to cover your case. But anyway, like I said, that's neither here nor there. I said, if you would like to waste your money, then he was like, who talks about murders? Y'all some weirdos. Well, shoot, it's a millions of us weirdos out here. That's wild. So Yeah, so that was that. So I didn't realize until we were talking about it. We did a live last week and we were talking about when I found out about the cease and desist order. So I was like, oh shoot, she wanted a response. So I got on Chat GPT. I said, I need you to cite um I need you to, because she wants to take down the episode. I said we are absolutely not taking down the episode. I again had her cite all of the court references where we are protected under the First Amendment, and then I also told her that if she had people harassing me, and if she continued to harass me, we would be countersuing for emotional distress and damages. And she has not yet responded, so we will keep y'all informed on that if we end up going to court.
Yeah, we might have to sell fish.
In my pictures, like hopefully maybe to the shade room.
Hey, look, we gonna have to sell fish dinners and do a GoFundMe, y'all.
No, the
Know what
hell
I'm
we
saying?
not, because no attorney's gonna even take that. Because baby, if that were like, I'm not trying to be funny. As long as we're doing everything we're supposed to do, we are allowed to give commentary on the information that we find. We're not making up anything, so we're well within our rights. So, like I said, if she wants to take us to court, baby, blow my name up, okay? I pay for me a vacation. We ain't gonna be doing no fish dinners. If anything, I'm going to sue for emotional damages. Try me. She don't know me, but we'll, that was that. So let's move on to other things. So we just wanted to drop that tea on y'all. It was crazy. And yes, I have all the messages, I have all the receipts.
We'll post them, but the only way you're gonna see them, what? You gotta join Love, Lies, and Alibis. Join the group. Answer the questions.
Yes. So yeah, I'll post those at some point. So moving on from that, we want to say thank you guys so much for our 1 year picnic yesterday. Child, it was hot, honey. But it was so nice. Like the vibe was so nice. Like people who came out to celebrate with us, like we are just beyond grateful. It was just like I almost cried because I was just like, I can't believe we have done this for a whole year and y'all like really, really rocking with us. Like it has just been so much. And like I said, the outpouring of love that we got just this last week about the anniversary episode, and
Yeah,
let's
just
say,
to love that show yesterday, man. Like,
just taking the time out to not even just come kick it with us, but even just to leave us an encouraging word. Like I said, we've stumbled and we've, we're learning as we go. Like I said, so it's been a learning experience. Like I say, and we don't take it for granted. Like I say, the share with a friend, recommending our podcast to somebody else, like all of that means the absolute world to us. Whether it's small, you say like we've had people come in our inbox and give us tips, like, hey, can you change up this, or we notice this. We appreciate all the feedback. We really do, because it helps
yes,
us to like tweak what we're doing. Because that's we all we doing. We
I
just
know.
I had an idea and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. So
We appreciate it, man. And again, man, hey, but we gotta get a couple shots out, man. To people from yesterday. Come on, let's. Terry Love, we gotta get shot out Terry Love, man. Terry Love came and she kicked it, man. Know what I'm saying? Terry Love showed up and showed out. Know what I'm saying? Gotta give it to.
Anita can kick it, like she
Oh
was.
yeah, Danita. Give it up to Danita with some big ass edibles.
Man,
Man, yeah. Look, I was like, yeah, that big ass edible, man. I was. Do you realize, man? I was this morning. I woke up like, I'm about to drive home. Yes, Elizabeth, yes, she came through. Know what I'm saying? And she left with a dude,
that nigga looks slow.
right?
But yeah, anyway, we had a really
Wait,
good time.
you got to take the rest of the people that came through.
Oh yeah, we had vendors. Neoma was a vendor.
Neoma, yes, Neoma came
They
up.
was tearing
Yeah,
up her table. I said we had several vendors. Zena, she made some bomb cupcakes. I
yes.
think your nephew came over. He was like, I just can't stop eating the cupcake. They
I
were,
know,
yeah.
man. I didn't even get one.
Oh,
Yeah, I know,
well,
right? Anyway,
too.
yes.
Deanna, she came and showed out. Who else? Oh my god, it was just people were just coming left and right, and I'm just like, I was
Yeah, it
trying
was
to.
nice, man. I'm telling you, it was love. Like we actually did that, Tiffany. We really, like we did, and it rained for 1 hour, and that's it.
No, it didn't even rain for an hour. It
Yeah, it
rained
was
for like
like 30
30
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
Stop.
30 minutes, and then
That
we
rain
was good.
good. It's
Yeah,
so
the
good.
DJ, man, gotta give a shout out to my brother, Jud, man, for DJing, man, because I mean he DJed to the very end. Yes, and I just didn't want to miss nobody, man. But hey, we appreciate the love. This was amazing. Oh, go ahead, make your announcements. We got something coming up. the BTCC?
Oh, we have several announcements coming. Okay, so first and foremost, y'all got about 2 weeks to get y'all tickets to this live show. Like, I need y'all to show up and show out. It is enough of y'all. Baby, I need a new microphone over here. If y'all ain't know, I need a new microphone. We got to get to Atlanta, because if you weren't in the group, you didn't hear the announcement of the official BTCC live show. But back to before I hit that, go get y'all tickets on melaninmysteries.com. They start at just $15. I think we have about 15 tickets left for the in-person. So make sure you get your tickets, because I'm only selling 20. And once they're gone, they're gone. And Danita actually asked me a question yesterday, and she was like, I was wondering what the difference. She was like, the VIP, she was like,
Hello?
there's a can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, Danita asked me the question, which was a very valid question. She said that there was a um what is it? She said there's a VIP for virtual, but there's no VIP for in person. And I just told her, I was like, first of all, if you come in person, I'm gonna show up and show out. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
you already
going to
know,
be
man.
very
Look,
special. So I'm like, there's no need for a VIP in person. If you,
anybody that came out yesterday know how we get down when we come out. You know what I'm saying? They know how we get down. You know what I'm saying? So if you come, you show up, trust me, you're gonna get the VIP treatment. Trust me.
exactly. So that's the reason why there's no VIP package for in person, because we gonna show up for you and show out. So that's why. So your tickets start at $15 and they go up to 30. Go ahead and get y'all tickets, because we want to have fun with you. Like we said, it's going to be an interactive show. You're going to be able to speak to us in live time. We're going to do everything, love lies and alibis. We're doing it all. So make sure you get your tickets, melaninmysteries.com. Just go in there. I made it real simple. Just pick your tier, check out, and you'll get your ticket. If you're virtual, we'll be sending the link 24 hours before the event. If you choose the virtual VIP, you'll be getting a gift box that will be shipped out to you within 2 weeks of the show, which is actually be going out this week. And if you have an in-person, yeah, you'll be getting the goodies there. But anyway, on to our BTCC event. We have been holding this one in for months, and we are so excited to drop it. So if you have listened for this long, you know the Black True Crime Collective. It is us. It's our girl Renee over at Melanin Mayhem. It's our sisters Brittany and Deja over at A Sip of Red Rum, and our brother Arthur, Not My Brother's Keeper. We will be at ATL on October the 18th. This is going to be crime, cocktails, and canvases. So we are doing a live show. You will get not one, not two, you are getting 4 live cases. We gonna sip on something and we gonna paint. So it is a true crime paint and sip. Yes.
And they're gonna be sponsored by Bucci Cat Records INC. Sorry.
So yeah. So if y'all, the contribution of y'all, buying our Melanin Mystery live show tickets also help us get to Atlanta. Just, if y'all just want to feel generous. And there's even a tip option on if you can't make the live show, there also is a tip option as low as $5. We appreciate it.
And we not them people that, we ain't like we over here panhandling and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You're feeling generous by all means, you know what I'm saying? Because stuff got to get paid, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I looked at my debit card yesterday. I was like, my bank statement this morning. I was like, God.
Yeah, I did the same. I was like,
Yeah, spending, buying drinks.
The details for how to get your tickets for the Atlanta show will be coming soon, but just make sure you save the date, because it is October 18th. And it is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Like I said, we are going to have 4 live cases. We are going to have some drinks, and we going to paint and sip and laugh and be appalled at the audacity. It is just going to be
It's going to be
everything.
amazing. Yeah, so make sure you guys show.
Save the date for that. I say we would love to see you there. I say, and if you can't make it, we may be coming to a city near you soon. So, just keep that in mind. If you can't make it, we ain't mad. And that's really, I think that's all the announcements I got.
All right, there we go. Well, go ahead and take us out, girl.
Okay, so just remember that love should never come with a life sentence. Make sure you choose freedom and never felonies.
And we out. All right, y'all. That's it for this week's episode of Melanin Mystery. Now, if you want to keep up with us, we're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Just search Melanin Mystery Podcast and hit that follow button. Now, if you want to take it a step further and get in on the behind the scenes tea, pull up to our private Facebook group called Love, Lies, and Alibis. But listen, do us all a favor. Answer the entry questions. If not, we will deny you. Faster than a broke dude in the DM. Y'all know how that go. Got a small business and looking to grow? We got limited spots for promos and partnerships. Just email us at podcast@melaninmystery.com before the inbox fills up. And last but not least, if you enjoyed the show, drop us a 5-star review or leave a comment. It helps more folks find us. And trust me, your boy trying to quit his day job eventually, so help a brother out, please. And we'll see y'all next time. Same mystery, same mess.